Welcome everybody back to the Goat Sessions 2025 edition. So it has been about 9 months since my last recording, and I'm grateful to be back. I've been really busy because of graduate school. Not much else to say on that. Let's just get right in. Spare the pleasantries. It's good to see everyone. Last time I was on YouTube, my hair was long, but I cut it for graduate school, so I think it's okay right now. I'll have to cut it soon because I'm getting this stuff in the back, but some people like that. Some ladies like that. I don't know. Okay. Having headphones today so I can hear myself on the mic and how crispy I am. I have my noise gate on. Also, I'm talking low because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning over here, and I don't want to be loud at night. I usually am. I try to be not loud on camera so you guys can not see the goofiness. We're going to continue our dive into Seneca. We were on chapter 3. We covered chapter 2 last year. We're on chapter 3 now. So Seneca's on the Shortness of Life. I'm reading the James Harris translation. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon. It's all right. I like it. If you want a more sophisticated version, just go download a PDF of it. It's pretty cool. So ASMR ? We covered in the first 2 chapters pretty much what time is, what constitutes time, and how people give it so freely, and he's still talking about that, pretty much harping on it. It's probably the most important part of the book, is that topic of giving away your time freely, and everyone's a hypocrite. I don't know if Seneca offers any, advice for it, how do I not spend my time freely? That's something a lot of philosophy falls on, because philosophy is not treatment associated. It's more like, here's something, let's explore what this is. Not really offer advice on how to solve it, if it is a problem, but pretty much what it is. It's a definitive study. So I still like it to this day. It's a really good book, and if you feel like you're losing time and you're poor at time management, this is really good. It tells you a lot. So I'll start reading chapter 3, and then we'll cover what it means. All the brilliant intellects of the ages were able to concentrate upon this one theme, but none can adequately describe their wonder at this dense darkness of the human mind. Men who do not suffer threats are quick to prepare for war over the slightest preconceived danger. Yet they allow others to trespass upon their life without any barriers. They themselves even lead in those people who will eventually possess their time. No one is willing to distribute their money. Yet among how many people do we see the distribution of their life? In guarding their fortune, people are often tight-fisted. Yet when it comes to the matter of wasting time, which is the one thing they should have the right to be miserly over, they show themselves most uncontrolled. I invite you to imagine being in the company of older men and women who say, quote, "You have now reached the furthest part of your life, approaching your 100th year, or perhaps even beyond it. Recall your life and estimate how much of your time was taking up working for another, how much with a mistress, how much repaying debts, how much with clients for a business which does not serve you, how much in arguing with your wife, how much rushing about the city, socializing but gaining nothing from it. Add the diseases of your body and mind which have been caused by your own acts. Add, too, the time that has been left idle and unused. You will see that you would have fewer years to your credit than you count. Look back in memory and consider, when you ever had a fixed plan, how few days you can say you lived with intent. When you were ever at your own disposal, when your face ever wore its natural expression, when your mind was ever relaxed. What work you have achieved in such a long life. How many have robbed you of life when you were not aware of what you were losing? How much was taken up in useless sorrow and foolish joy, in greedy desire, in the allurements of society? How little of yourself was left to you? You will perceive that you are dying before you have really lived. What, then, is the reason of this? You live as if you were destined to live forever. No thought of your frailty ever entered your head, of how much time has already gone by, and you take no notice. You squander time as if you had a full and abundant supply, though one day which you waste on some person or thing could be your last. You have all the fears of mortals, and all the desires of immortals. You will hear many say, quote, "After my 50th year I will retire into leisure. my 60th year, I will no longer have any public duties, end quote. And what guarantee do you have that your life will last longer than this? And who else but yourself will suffer this course, waiting until a fixed time to actually live? Are you not ashamed to reserve for yourself only the remnant of life, and to set apart only that time to devote to yourself? How late it is to begin to live just when we must cease to live. What foolish forgetfulness of mortality to postpone plans to the 50th and 60th year, and to intend to begin life at a point to which few have attained in good health. It's a lot. And it's 3 minutes of absolute truth. He makes a very good point. He even has that run-on sentence. Think about this. When you get to your 100th year, and that's it, that's the end of the road, how much of time can you say and can you attribute to mainly your own desires and your work? Now working for other people, now messing around. How much of time can you say that you spent this wisely and this was the best decision and you were the master of it? That's the most important part. Most of our time is not that. It's due to responsibilities and duties, which we do have ourselves, but we don't make those duties and responsibilities sometimes. It's usually at work. That's not your own time. That's not rather what you would be doing unless you really love your job, which is a great thing. How much can you say that's yours? I was thinking this week, I was taking an exam this week. It was a midterm out of several classes that I have. And I remember over spring break I started studying. And people were kind of laughing at me. Not really. This is more like jesting with me. Like, you're really going to study for spring break for an exam? That's the week after, like 2 weeks after spring break on a Monday. On a Tuesday, excuse me. Come on. And I said to myself, I don't want to lose time on this. And I enjoyed the material specifically. And I want to get a good grade. That's going to be useful with my time. But a lot of students didn't do that. They just waited until the last minute. The week before, on a Friday, because we had another exam then. But I studied for both exams. You need to have good time management. And you need to be able to have time management. You could say, I made this decision, and this was the best decision I could have possibly made. You need to start getting to a point in life where that is what you say at the end of the day. I have no regrets. I spent the time I did, and I can safely say that it was worth it. Not a lot of people can say that, and neither can I. I am a hypocrite like everyone else. So, I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm just trying to give you advice, brother or sister. That's just how it is. It's all this channel is really at the end of the day. I want to go over some specifics regarding Seneca's work here in chapter 3. There's a lot of good lines. Remember, speak slowly. Don't eat your words. Men who do not suffer threats are quick to prepare for war over the slightest preconceived danger. Very true. This is, if something threatens you in your life, you're willing to go to war. But and then in the next sentence, he kills this. Yet they allow others to trespass upon their life without any barriers. They themselves even lead in those people who eventually possess their time. So whatever poses a threat to our autonomy, our freedom, our money, our food, and the way to get it to pay our bills, our friends, we immediately get defensive and we start to fight. But our time is, not a lot of people guard their time. And those who do are perceived as selfish. All about them. Oof. Mountain Dew Baja Blast will do that too. Also, yeah, it's never about their time. It's anything else. We're going to die on this hill, so to speak. But when it comes to time, we don't fight for our time. And not a lot of people do. And the ones that do are perceived as selfish. Dare I say, controlling, preoccupied, busy. Busy is a good word. I love busy. I love words that are short that can be used for so many different contexts, and it has different meanings. If I say you're a busy person, that could mean many things. I could say, oh, he's a busy person. He's a busy person. He's a busy person. Things like that, like the inflections on it, are just so critical here. Because it's okay to be busy at the end of the day. It really is. I mean, if you have your own things you need to attend to, your own engagements, dare I say, that you need to attend to, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Because at the end of the day, who goes to sleep in your bed? You do. Nobody else. Now, if you overwork yourself and you deprive yourself of any social get-together with your family, friends, loved ones, who would have you, and you do that on purpose so you can work more, so you can get away from that, I don't think it's the healthiest option. Because usually when you submerge yourself into work, you come out the other side and you feel like you drowned. And you've lost time from something that you should be doing. It's that guilt of losing time that tells you, it's your internal morality telling you, hey, probably not the best idea. If you're getting second doubts, probably not the best idea. So that's the air coming on. Yeah. That's why, big thing, for example, for like making online purchases. A lot of people get in their heads when they make an online purchase, hey, this is probably not the best thing I should be doing right now. It's that little voice, that's all it takes. And as soon as you hear that little voice, that tells you all you need to know. Probably shouldn't be doing it. You have a compass. A lot of people try to pretend like they don't. Like there's no right and wrong sometimes. There's no absolutes, you know. I just find that very odd. Of course there's absolutes. There always is. This is right, this is wrong, in this case. Your mind tells you. Now, in reality, are there really absolutes? That's a very hard question. That's for another day. Great prompt, though. Because, like, in the criminal justice system, are there absolutes? What is the definition of good? What is evil? They're absolutes at the end of the day. Are things like that in day-to-day life? No. It's a mix. And that's the most dangerous part, is that it's a mix. And that's why it's so hard to discern. It's the same thing in your conscience. I see it as an absolute. A lot of people think, well, it's two different opposing voices in my head, and they want one thing, to buy what I'm going to buy, and the other one says, do not buy what I'm going to buy. So you have to fight yourself at the end of the day. But for me, if there's always a hesitancy, saying, hey, don't do this, that is so smaller, the 1% of my the 100% of my mind, out of that 1% that says that, I'm convinced most of the time, I don't need this. Because it tells you I'm having doubts. So that's how you should guard your time. That's pretty much my spiel at this point. Another thing I want to cover regarding Seneca on chapter 3 here is, let's see. Yes, very good quote. So at the end of the day, right, you'll realize how little you can control anything. And that's not to say that human beings can't control their time. Yes, they can. But unconsciously, when you don't think about it, we give our time to everyone. This is how it is in life. So you'll see. You will perceive that you are dying before you have really lived. That is a very good quote. Because usually when you realize this stuff, it's usually at the end of your life. And as he says, in the end, where people in his time were said, well, my 50th or 60th year, I'm thinking I'm going to retire. I won't have any work to do. Remember, life expectancy was not what it was around this time. Either higher or lower, I don't remember, but it's definitely different from today, I would assume. And to say that with and not even considering life expectancy, with no certainty of the future. You retire now, and then you're going to, in my 60th year, then I'm going to have no work. It's a good thing to plan for your life. Don't get me wrong. It's an amazing thing. It shows that you're very hardworking, you're determined to see it through. And you got a plan. That's the biggest thing. You got a plan just in case. Right? I like to make a plan for my plan if it doesn't work. But to say and anticipate with such confidence that, I'm going to do this in my 60 years of life on a moral and a philosophical level, it's absurd. Because there's no guarantee that you'll live until that time. And to say that you're really going to, I'm really going to, chill out, I'm going to live my life right after I'm retired, that's a crazy thing to say. Live now while you're alive. Right now is guaranteed. The present is always guaranteed. There is no falsity about the present. It is only about the past and the future, because the past can be altered. In the future, does not exist yet. The present is what matters right now. The present is the biggest thing on our mind. We prepare for the future, but we keep our mind on the past. Unfortunately, that's just how people are. We prepare for the future, but using the past as a compass. That is the best thing we can do. And our time is so valuable for this, because if we do not value time, then we cannot value the present. If we cannot value the present, then we have no hope for the future. And the past succumbs. We succumb to the past. We regress. Because chaos and regression and a society not caring about how to utilize its time has been seen time and time and time again. That's a constant. To have a society where people actually work towards making time and, owners of their own fate, so to be. Yes, you wouldn't have that. You would never think about the past as we do now. Oh, nostalgia is bred upon that. You love the past because the future right now and what was promised to you in the present before, which is now the past, it's not the same. For example, my people who were growing up in 2012, late 2000s, early 2010s, great time. It was a great time for me, and I was a kid, but really there was a recession going on, and not good at all from an economical standpoint. However, from the music standpoint, you get that recession pop. That was really good. Amazing hits. All those years. But then we get out of it and then we're promised something bigger and better by Washington and all these people. This is politics at the end of the day. We don't get that. And now our country's not doing the best. And people are actually looking back at those times and say, I want that instead. And I think it's because it's how the world spends its time. It's the one thing you will always run out of. You will never get it back. You won't. And if it's not the only thing, maybe there's some others. I guess maybe some chronic illnesses you don't get back, but we may have a cure for those in the future. We may have an ability to mitigate those factors. You can't mitigate a risk factor for losing time. You can't prevent it, is a better word to say. I mean, you can mitigate. Yeah, you could go back and just make better decisions. Not go back, but make better decisions. But you can't just halt time, tell it to stop, like some child that doesn't know what it's doing. It clearly knows what it's doing. It's moving on. So, talk slow. You live as if you were destined to live forever. No thought of your frailty ever entered your head, of how much time has already gone by, and you take no notice. No notice. Time is not robust. If it was, then we'd be doing so swell. We'd be using our time. And time doesn't last forever. It's not that long in today's age. It's frail. It breaks easily. You can lose it easily. You can not even remember certain parts of your life when you get older. Easily. It's fleeting, like the wind. You squander time as if you had a full and abundant supply, though one day which you waste on some person or thing could be your last. Inevitably, that's how life ends. If you don't get to a hospital and have your family around you, some people die alone in hospitals. Some people, the last thing they do is talk to a friend. They went out to go eat. Mundane. Not a lot of people talk to their family or have some great thing bestowed upon them like we see in the movies and then die. What happens before death is pretty insignificant. And for most people. It's not like they conquered the world. Not a lot of people, they went to go on a trip and, go on spring break, go to a water park, vacation. Not a lot of people go through that and then die shortly after. What happens before death is your daily 9 to 5 job. It just comes out of nowhere out of left field. And you know who's more surprised? The people who knew the person. And said, wow, it's wild. Because you think it's so mundane. You never really think about death. Once you make a routine in life, that's probably the con of making a routine in life, is that life itself seems worthless after. Because you plan it so much and it just becomes inorganic. And then when people die, you think, oh, that brings you back to reality. Yeah. I can't just become a zombie all day and work for money and then that's it. I live paycheck to paycheck. I got to do something. And being with friends, you know, doing hobbies and things of that sort are very important. Very important. It reminds you what you're missing out on. It reminds you that life is a cooperative effort. You can't be by yourself. And if you do, then you better be strong as hell. Because living by yourself is tough. I mean, without any social interaction. And it'll affect you developmentally, too. You're going to shut yourself out for people. Shut yourself out from people. And you won't want to reciprocate. You're going to lose social cues. Spend your time wisely. That's all I have to say. I think we did pretty good here. Oh, last quote. This is amazing. This is like a Dark Souls quote. I honestly, like, you have all the fears of mortals and all the desires of immortals. We do fear death. We are right to fear death. Because we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows on this planet right now what's going to happen. We can't figure that out. And we fear that. And we fear every little thing that ruins our plan, that ruins our day. Because we're trying to keep it together in this world that tells us to keep it together, when really in life, nobody really has it together. But the desires we have, they go past the atmosphere, the moon, the sun, the next universe. Like we're immortal. Like we're gods. We have the desires of God. Not a pure, good God, obviously, but those of a hedonistic one. We desire things that we probably wouldn't get in our lifetime, realistically speaking. Not because we can, but because we only want it because we don't have it now. But if we get to the point of our life where we can't access it, at least, it's likely we won't want it. For you, a new car, sports car specifically, $100,000. You would love that. A lot of people would. Just to have. It's amazing. You know, just to be in the presence of it and buy it for yourself if you have the money. But when you actually are rich enough, or at least if you are financially well enough to afford something of that state, it loses the luster. Because now there's a bunch of cars like that now. There's so much of that. So, having the desires of immortals is not the best, because then you start to neglect what the basic necessities are. And if you desire great things and you attain great things, they no longer become great. They become mundane. And that's what happens with the human soul and the spirit and the mind and what have you. All these things together. Over our life, we perceive new, novel, unfamiliar things as quirky, interesting, desirable. But as soon as we attain them, it loses luster. Sometimes quick, sometimes over years. At the end of the day, there's only one thing that can be said. Do not become hypocritical with your time. I think I hear people outside. It's okay, they're walking home. This is a good chapter to come back to. And I'm speechless in a sense, to be honest. Because I always find it really interesting that someone in the past, a long time ago, over 2,000 years ago, was able to write something like this. It amazes me. So, also, I'm trying to get used to my face on camera, so that's why I'm looking at the camera a lot. By the way, I don't edit these videos. I post them as is. I don't really care about editing, to be honest. A lot of people do it for views. I'm not a views guy. I just post the content in case someone sees it and likes it. Simple as that. All I gotta say is be wary of your time and how you spend it. And don't go spending it in places where you don't want to spend it. As he talked about in the previous 2 chapters, I'm pretty sure. I think the previous chapter he was talking more about specifics of time. And how people struggle with that. And then this one is, hey, don't use it everywhere. He's talking really to you, which is a very personal chapter. And the first one, he introduces what time is and how that affects life and how fleeting it is in the first place. I'll cover chapter 4 next in the next video. I believe in this one he's just talking about pretty much examples and harping more on it. And he even talks in some history here regarding the Roman Empire. Nothing big like historical text, just references in this time. So this will be very good. Very good. Thank you for watching, everyone. Sorry for the rambling. If I did ramble on, I'm just talking about my day. It's been a long time. And what I've seen, just thoughts. I don't think this should be a no holds barred type of scenario. So whatever you guys want to talk about, you can put in the comments below. I'll read them and see how I can reply the best. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. And goats out. Oh yeah, I'm keeping that in.